Hey guys, welcome back to the Long and Hard podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Thomas. And we're here to bring you the most mega content there ever was tonight.
The most mega, not to be confused with mega.
April Fools?
I don't think I could have kept that going for much longer.
No, me neither. My throat hurts.
Hey guys.
It's the Two Girls One Broadcast takeover of the Long and Hard podcast. I can't believe I just said that without fucking it up.
Yeah,
because I don't
did.
even remember the name of our podcast half the time, much less the guys' podcast. We did a little switcheroony for you guys this week. And the guys recorded an episode that's up on our channel, and they trusted us to record an episode that's going up on their channel. So
Yeah, and go figure, we gave them a whole bunch of things to talk about, and they gave us fuck all.
dipshit all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I get an L in the chat?
It's a big L.
This whole episode's going to be an L.
So really sorry for everything you're about to hear.
Yes, we do apologize.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to start talking about, Jack? The pressure's on.
I know. Well, you know, we always have like this ongoing joke about who's the long and who's the hard part of the podcast.
Right.
And while we were planning, we obviously decided that we were going to talk about dicks.
Yes. It's one of our favorite subjects.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to listen to women talking about wieners?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone wants to hear that. Right?
So we're just going to start off strong.
Yes. Well, yes. So we were talking about the different attributes that wiener might have, one being the longness and one being the hardness, but
Yes.
there are so many other parts that kind of get left in the dust that we don't talk about when we make fun of the guys. And the one that I really wanted to talk about was turtlenecks. You know what? It's still warm out. Is your wiener wearing a turtleneck?
No. Oh, no. You mean it's still cold out, not warm out?
Yeah. Damn it! It's cold AF. It's going to be like -20 at night this week.
So make sure you got those turtlenecks on,
get your
boys.
turtleneck on.
What exactly did you want to talk about?
I want to make this a turtleneck appreciation podcast.
Oh, we're appreciating them.
Well, okay. So I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there about the whole turtleneck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about foreskin.
I don't think anybody was wondering what we were talking about.
Well, just in case. If my mother's listening, she's like, "What's a turtleneck?"
Oh yeah, right.
Hey, Mom. So yeah. Anyway, foreskin.
So, your experience with foreskin?
I think a lot of people hate on foreskin, and I just want to come out and say, in Canada, there's a lot of guys that aren't cut. In the States, apparently, there's only 9% of guys that are not circumcised.
Oh.
Which is crazy to me, because that has not been my experience, like, as far as my widespread experience in Canada. It's more like,
am I gonna make it through this episode without
I
laughing?
would say my experiences have probably been like 40% uncut, 30 to 40%.
Your experience.
Yeah, like lots of turtlenecks out there running around.
I've had 2 turtlenecks in my life.
And we're not going to go into what percentage that would be, but
It is 3%.
what? I can't do math, so what would that mean?
I don't know. It just sounded like a low number, so I gave it a go.
Yeah, that would mean that you slept with a lot of guys.
Oh.
I think, wouldn't that mean that you slept with like 60 guys?
No.
Okay, I can't do math.
Oh, I don't know. I can't do math. You can do
Anyway.
math better than. Anyways, that didn't happen.
Wow.
No percentages.
Wow, no
Yeah.
percentages,
No
no
percentages.
numbers.
But I do have an appreciation for them now. My first turtleneck made me very, very, very unappreciative of it
Why was that?
because he was a dick. And then I just associated that with turtlenecks. And then I was like,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yes. So I have 2 times with one of with the variety of that penis. And well, I'm fine with it now. So
Yeah, I like them. Like, I don't need it.
yeah,
I would never like discriminate either way. I just think that,
I
like,
used to
people need
discriminate.
to open their mind. Yeah, and like so many people, like you hear people talk and they're like, "Oh my god, I hooked up with this guy last night and like he wasn't cut." Ew. I'm like,
yeah.
okay. First of all, as long as you're keeping it clean, then we're G2G. We're good to go.
I also, now reflecting, feel bad for that stigma because it's not their fault.
Yeah,
Their
they don't get to
parents
choose.
made that decision.
Yeah, and I was listening to another podcast and there was a guy on it and he was talking about how he got an adult circumcision because there was so much stigma and he had so many bad experiences with girls being turned off by it. And because he'd grown up until he was like in his mid-20s with foreskin, when he got it removed, he was so fucking sensitive that he would come in like 3 seconds. Like he like couldn't handle it. And so he regretted doing it. And I'm like, that's so fucking sad. And also, guys, it's funner to give hand jobs if the guy has a little extra stuff to work with.
Really? Because I'm like scared.
I think
that I'm going to hurt them.
Yeah, I'm like less scared.
Oh.
Although it can like, you can definitely hurt it.
Yeah.
Like I had an ex that wasn't cut. And like if we had sex too much, he would be like, I like physically need a break. Like I'm like, my skin's going to rip. Is this too graphic?
Oh, I don't know. Well, this is what the boys signed up for.
Yeah, here you go, Josh and Thomas.
If
If you don't give us
a script,
or, you know,
we're going to talk about dick and foreskin.
Yes. I could get worse with this, but I'm not going to.
I think you should.
I don't know. I don't know about that. There's a word floating around my brain that I just really don't want to speak out into the ether. Oh. But I'll just repeat it again. Just make sure you're cleaning yourself properly and then it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't discriminate either way anymore. I think like when I was younger, I was probably scared too. But I think like literally maybe the third person I ever slept with was uncut. So I just like was used to that at like not fairly young, but like how do I want to put this? Fairly early on in my sexual career, I became familiarized with
it's a career
the
now.
turtleneck.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a career. Go to my OnlyFans page. Just kidding.
Subreddit?
Yeah, also my subreddit. I sell feet pics. I have thought about it. I'm not like gonna lie.
No, for sure. I mean, I was actually talking to one of my friends about that the other day, and she's like, was telling me about how she was just learning that you can sell your underwear on Reddit. And I was like, oh yeah, there's like a subreddit. She actually didn't know it was on Reddit, so I told her. I'm like, it's a subreddit, and I'm like, some guys want you to wear them for like 5 days straight and like work out in them, and then like you send it to them, and she's like, and then what do they do? I'm like, well, can you just picture it yourself? Like, just imagine they
frame them and put them on the wall.
I cannot.
Yeah,
but apparently it's where you make your money. Mm-hmm. Also, how about making sex tapes and then uploading them to try and make money?
And that's what you can do on OnlyFans. Right. So on OnlyFans, you can put up like photos, but you can also do like videos of like yourself, or like if you have a partner that's willing to do it with you, you can put up videos of the two of you.
Well, that to me is weird because there's so much porn out there that's free. So I'm like,
I was reading about this actually because that's so true. Like there is so much free porn and like good quality free porn actually, that it's kind of like, why do you want like homemade videos? And apparently there's something about the fact that it's like very unproduced and it looks very like raw and real, because it is, that it's more of a turn on for certain people because they feel like they can more like imagine themselves in it. It's not like all perfect lighting and like you know, there's not a producer in the background getting people fluffed and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Just kidding. I don't think people fluff anymore, but that's what Viagra's for.
Oh my God, I don't even know what that means.
To be a fluff or like fluffing is like in porn, if the guy is like, it's his turn to go on, but he's not hard yet. A fluffer, it's their job to go and like get him hard so that he can go into the scene already pre-boned up.
Oh, like okay, interesting. Huh. Couldn't you do like a little dick pumping for that?
I
imagine like one of those accordion like pumping things.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I hope that we have this on video because
we do.
Jack was just acting this out. I didn't know. Okay, so I always thought the dick pumps were like to try and like grow your dick. I don't know what I really thought.
I think it is.
But like you can use it when you're hard?
No, I think you use it when you're not hard.
To get hard? Just like,
and it like makes it bigger.
Blasted.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's bizarre.
Research topic. We'll put a tab in that for later.
Yes, we should. Yes.
If anyone wants to own up that they've tried one, let me know.
Yeah, please let us know. Also, we will be talking about it. So make sure you head over to Two Girls One Broadcast to hear that episode when it comes out, and all the other great content we have on our episode. Yeah. I mean, on our channels.
Yes, we don't always talk about sex or sex parts.
Just had to do a shameless plug there since there's about 7 of them in the episode the boys did for us.
Yes, so. We listened to every second of that episode, you guys, and wow, no free ads, but like all the free ads.
Yeah, seriously, you guys did not hold back at all.
It's funny because we haven't really been talking about sex on our channel that much lately. We've been going in like more of like a self-care and talking with like counselor, nutrition kind of stuff, and like
but I think it's the time for that because everybody's stuck at home, right?
But then we get on the boys channel and I'm like, I'm gonna talk about penises.
Always. I'm sure it will come up later in the episode.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarantine, how are you feeling about it? I think you and I do quarantine a bit different than the boys do.
Yeah, no kidding. It's weird because I'm an introvert. I love being home. I love being a homebody, and I'm comfortable with being by myself. But like, I have this very weird sense of anxiety for like no reason, just because like things are off, right? And so I've been having like pretty bad anxiety the past few days, and it's like it's not caused by anything. It's just like I know that my routine is off, and like people are stressed out, and it's making me anxious, and I feel like I like don't know how to deal with it because there's nothing I can like fix. I can't fix this. No. It's totally out of my control.
Yeah. Well, it's like I saw a meme and I don't remember what it said, but it was like basically like going to the grocery store feels like some kind of like, you know, like there's a plague and like everyone's just like, it's just weird. Like everyone's trying to like keep their distance and you're like, how are people feeling? And like, do they, you know, like just making sure you maintain that whole like 6 feet distance thing. And it's just a weird feeling. Like it feels like you're in like an abandoned city almost.
Yeah, it's like Walking Dead type shit, like
that's what it was.
Post-apocalyptic dystopian society. It's bizarre. I went to Superstore for the first time. Like I hadn't gone really grocery shopping in the past week, like since stuff has really ramped up. And it was bizarre. Like people are actually taking the social distancing seriously now and trying to maintain distance. So like someone was up getting milk and there was like 3 other people all just kind of like standing there looking at him, and I was like, did you all want like the same homo milk that he's grabbing? But it's because people were literally being polite and like waiting to go up one at a time so they don't get too close to each other. I was like, oh my god, this is like the real deal.
It is.
My parents are in the States and they're coming back. They're gonna cross the border tomorrow, fingers crossed, knock on wood. But yeah, then they have to go self-quarantine out in the country.
Yeah.
Interesting. So like, they were like, we're not allowed to bring vegetables over the border, which I didn't know you can't cross the border with veggies.
Well, I think it's the same as getting on a plane.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. They always ask you, right? Like if you've been around agriculture, if you have any. Oh. Yeah. So it's the same when you're driving as it is when you're flying.
Interesting. But yeah, so I'm like, I got to get some rubber gloves, go grocery shopping for them, and then just go like drop it off outside and wave hello to them. It's sad because I haven't seen them in like 6 months, so I can't even hug them.
I know, and we never made it there either because of this whole thing.
I know.
Good thing we actually didn't book it.
Yeah, no kidding. We had thought about going like right around this time because they came back early. They weren't supposed to come back till April. So
yeah,
very interesting timing of this whole debacle.
So what are you trying to do to keep yourself sane? I mean, I know, but we live together, by the way, for everyone that's listening. So we're quarantined together.
Quarantine buddies.
Like, thank God for that.
I don't understand. See, the people that live alone, I feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
I literally can't imagine.
I know.
I would go insane.
Yeah, I mean, you're already going insane with me here. So
I was already a little bit insane. This has just kind of ramped it up a little bit. It's just been a little exacerbation.
Yeah.
Well, like earlier this week, we had said we were going to try and get into a workout routine because, like, my God, I'm getting fluffy from this because we've been drinking more than usual, which is a feat unto itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, just not really being just the normal exercise, like not even walking around and stuff like that. So we're going to try and get into a little bit of a workout routine. And I think that'll help with the anxiety thing too.
Probably.
And yeah, I need to, like, we're both still working. We're able to work from home. So in terms of that, like my routine doesn't feel as much like it's changed because we still have to get up in the morning and work all day.
That's true. I mean, my thing is like I'm getting up, rolling out of bed and going to the kitchen table to work. And so I'm spending 24/7 in this house basically. Yeah. And like working from home, I've done it before, not during a time like this, obviously. And I really enjoyed it. But I'm saying now that like I'm forced to be here. I don't like it as much. Like I like doing it maybe once or twice a week, but doing it every single day, it just feels like you don't have a routine. And like there's a lot of stuff on Instagram that's like, well, you need to make a new routine, like life's changed, you need to make a new one. And like I get that, but what really can you do? Like get up and still get ready to just go sit at the kitchen table? And like my body is feeling the fact that like I'm sitting at a table and like
not
I'm sitting in a squishy chair,
desk.
like my whole like you know, my sternum, like everything is just feeling so tight. And it's probably because I'm hunched over and like I can even try my best to not, but
typing on a laptop keyboard instead of a regular size keyboard, like everything, it's just like we're not meant to be sitting like that for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But it's not like every workplace has the resources to provide everybody with like a PC to go home with.
No, and I'm lucky I do have what I have to work from home. And I'm also very lucky that I can work from home. I know that, but you know, we're all going through something different when it comes to this whole sickness and like being stuck in the house. And some people like working from home, and I don't mind it, but it will get tiresome. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how long this is going to last for, but I am an extroverted person and I like to go out and do things. And so this is really going to push my limit, I think, when it comes to that. I've seen stuff on the internet. It's like, when this is over, make sure you ask me to go out, because I will for sure say yes. Like, I will never take that for granted again.
That is like me. Like, I'm like, I will look for any excuse not to go out. It's like, can you actually please start inviting me out once we can go out, because I will come.
Yeah, literally.
And the thing with you is being an extrovert, like, you get your energy from being around other people. And like, other than me, you don't really have too much of that, because you really can't. And like, we've been doing Google Hangouts with friends and like making sure that we have those interactions, but it's just not the same. It's still nice. Thank God that we have technology. Thank God for Wi-Fi.
I know. I don't know how people would have done this like earlier in the day with all those like, you know, plagues that were like really, really bad, and there was no technology. Like, I just can't even imagine.
Same, man.
So, I mean, like, we've just been trying to find new shows to like power through on Netflix. And I think we're gonna play some Monopoly, which, pray for us, because that usually is like a relationship ender thing.
I haven't played Monopoly in a long time. We used to kind of play it with my family, and I don't remember if it was my mom that thought it was boring. I think so.
Yeah.
But I was like, my dad would always be like, "No, your mom thinks Monopoly is boring." I'm like, I don't think she thinks it's boring. I don't think she likes playing with you.
Yeah, because it's like fucked. You get so mad at people, and it's like they're just out to screw you, and then it's like,
so when I was a kid, I would be so competitive at things, which doesn't bode well for me, because I'm not very good at a lot of things. So I'm very competitive with no skill. But I remember one time you and I were like maybe 13 or 14, and we were playing Life, and you kicked my ass, and I had like a temper tantrum, and I will never forget that was a very big growth moment for me in my teenage years. That was something, because like because I was being a little like bitch.
I love Life. I've only played it once. Actually, that reminds me, I should order it.
I love it too, and I promise I won't have a temper tantrum. So that taught me, like, I don't take a lot of things seriously anymore, and like, I'll be competitive about stuff, but I won't get butthurt if I lose. Like, I have many flaws, but I won't get butthurt if I lose. Like, I'm able to laugh at myself. So it's very funny.
Well, that's
when
good.
You think about those kind of things. Yeah. And like, we've been playing Jackbox TV, and if you guys have never heard of it, it is the best thing ever.
Yeah. So you do need to have like an Xbox or a PS4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if PS4 has it, but Xbox for sure. And then you just download one of the Jackbox party packs, or you know, a couple of them. They're like $20 each. And you can play it with like 8 people, I think is the max or something.
And they can be anywhere. And then you can stream it using like Mixer on the Xbox, or use like Twitch or whatever you want to do to stream it. Last night we literally set it up. We had a Google Hangout going, and the person who was playing it off his Xbox just put his iPad like facing the TV.
Yeah. Well, because it does lag a little bit when it comes to like Twitch and Mixer and stuff. So that's kind of the easiest way. But if you like stream it on your TV, and then you have like your Google Hangout beside that, so you can like see everyone that you're playing with, and then you just play it on your phone on the internet browser. So really all you have to download is Hangouts if you don't have it.
It's so awesome. Yeah. And then you can all talk during it. Like, you can all yell at each other, and like, we were laughing so hard, and like everyone's just making fun of each other. It was really good. I really enjoyed that. That has been like, did some shots. That has been a real sanity saver for me.
I think so too. Yeah. So, little tip. If you've never played Jackbox, give it a go, because it's a fun time with your friends, and we got to find something to keep us occupied during this time. But I mean, after, you know, saying all of that, really, really try and stay home. Like, the only way we're going to be able to get through this is if everyone stays home, and when you absolutely have to go out, just really like being clean and like sanitizing your hands. And I'm like, I leave the house with like a Lysol wipe to like clean my steering wheel and my phone, and then I come home and I wash my hands and I Lysol everything that I touch at the store, like my phone, my cards, and then the front door handle, like our keypad code. Like, I'm trying to do my best to, you know, make sure it doesn't enter our house. So I'm hoping everybody else is kind of doing the same too, going out, getting the essentials, and otherwise staying home. Like, we're feeling it. It's hard. I know some nurses who are literally not like living in their house with their kid because they don't want to get them sick. So like, there are people who are making way more of a sacrifice than we are. And like, we want to have a summer, right, guys? Like, we have a very short summer here, and we want to get back to like normal life. So just really make sure you're doing your part to flatten the curve, as they say.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's my preach for the day.
And with this whole quarantine thing and all the COVID stuff going on, it's important to keep updated with what's going on. But I would really caution against like reading through millions of news articles or sitting in front of CNN and just watching all this fear mongering. Like, it's important to get the information, but there's a line between being informed and then just listening to all this scary stuff that's really it's not helpful.
No.
At the end of the day. So like I keep up with what's going on. I'll just Google COVID Alberta and COVID Canada, and then that's how I keep up with like statistics, which again I probably shouldn't even be looking at, and then just like information about the border closures and the level of isolation that we're supposed to be keeping and essential services that are staying open, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's how I keep updated. I haven't watched the news at all.
No, I haven't either.
I have no interest in, like,
no,
it's just gonna make me more anxious.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is my mom's always like, watch the news, and I'm like, I can't. Like, at most I'll watch like those live broadcasts that our chief medical officer will do, but like,
yes, that's great. She's awesome.
She is. And like, again, props to her. She's out there doing like some real hard work for everybody and delivering not so great news, but I would say that's probably your best source. I just can't sit in front of the news every day because, again, it's that thing where you're watching all these things. A, you don't know what's true, and B, it's just going to make you have more anxiety. And again, like Katie said, this is something that's completely out of our control. So why would we, sit there and just like spend our days looking at all this news and just making ourselves feel so much worse when really all we can do is just be at home?
Yeah. So like, there's a line between like being informed, but just don't engage in that stuff that's not productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like fucking people on Facebook just getting mad at each other in the comments, and like people will post like photos on their Instagram and they're like, that's not social distancing, and it's like, do you know when that photo is from? You don't. Like, stop.
Jack posted a photo of us and a couple of friends, and I was like, oh my god, people are gonna be like, that's not social distancing.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, nobody said anything, but like, obviously I'm saying I'm practicing it, and I'm like, that's an old photo, so like people need to like just stop worrying about Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny, I think like our social media presence has kind of changed over this. Like, we're all doing these kind of corny little challenges that no one was really doing, or like they remind me of like old school Facebook. Like, we're all posting like the same screenshot and it's like my favorite color, my favorite book, my favorite smell, and I'm like, I kind of like it. Like, it's kind of back to basics. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool.
No, it's good. There was a girl I follow, and she posted like a tip for kind of getting out of the house but not being around people,
right?
Is just getting in your car and going and looking at like those kind of like Richie, as you would call it, neighborhoods with like the big houses. And I used to do that all the time and drive around and just look at like all these big houses and be like, oh, can you imagine? Or like trying to guess like what that family is like. And like, I thought that was a really good tip, and I haven't done it for a while, like I said. So
yeah, me and my ex used to do that. Actually, we'd
like,
go drive around like the estate lots kind of on the outside of the city and just look, and it's cool. Like, there's all sorts of different architecture. Like, the houses aren't super cookie cutter, so yeah, it's just kind of interesting, and it's pretty. Like, most of them are near lakes and whatever, and
it's a way to get out of the house and like not be around people and just have something to do. Or just even going for a drive and listening to music. Like, there are things you can do that prevent you from being around the public but keep you a little bit sane.
I did want to talk about I saw a really good idea for dating, because a lot of people are on dating apps right now, because like, what else are you going to do, especially if you're single? And ideas for like dating during COVID. So I saw a really good idea, and it was saying like, each of you make coffee at home and go in your car and go and drive to a parking lot, and then you just like crack your window and you can like drink your coffee and like talk to each other from a safe distance away. I'm like, that's really cute.
So
like,
you can like meet each other. Could you imagine like that would be your like wedding story? Well, our first date was us in our cars because of COVID-19.
Yeah, legit.
That's actually a good idea.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's still things that we can do to maintain some semblance of normality and get out of the house. That's something that I think I need to be better at, is getting out of the house. Like, just going and walking the dog. Or whatever. Just like keep respectful distances from people. Like, cross the street if you need to, and you can totally do it safely. Get your vitamin D.
It's really easy to like get into a slump and just be like, all I'm going to do is watch TV.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I do love me some binge watching sessions. Like, people are always like, oh god, I binge watched so much this week and it's such a waste. I'm like, I fucking love binge watching shows.
Yeah. So we started Scandal.
Yep.
It's fairly old and there's no more new episodes coming out. So that's a good one to watch. There's about 8 seasons and the episodes are 45 minutes to an hour long. Lucifer is one that we love as well.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. I've actually never watched Friends, really. Like, I've seen a few episodes here and there. So I'm just like filling my time in with that.
Yeah,
what else are we?
I love, because I always quote Friends, and then I look at Jack, I'm like, oh, you don't get that. So I'm so excited. Tiger King, obviously, everyone's talking about. If you haven't watched Love is Blind yet, watch it. Even if you're a dude, it's so freaking, it's great.
Yeah, it will just suck you right in.
Love is Blind has really gotten me back into reality TV, because I haven't watched reality in so long.
Well, we don't have cable too, so that makes it tricky, but there's a lot of websites that you can go to watch that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And today Jack started watching Siesta Key. I slept in so late today, and I came downstairs and she was watching it, and like I sat in front of the TV for like 3 hours watching it. I was like, I'm so invested in these people now.
Yeah, so take the time too to like catch up on shows. I think that's good too, to just give yourself some time to watch TV.
Yeah.
But anyways, stay safe and stay distant.
Yeah.
And
check on your extroverted friends. They're not okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like there's a meme and it's like all the introverts are just at home reading a book. It's like, bitch, call your extroverted friends. They're dying.
Yeah.
They're
For
so
real.
lonely.
Yeah. It's a tough time out there, but if we all do our part, then it will be done before we know it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know everyone's talking about this right now, but it is really so topical. Like you can't really go an episode without just touching on it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're dealing with it decently.
That we can.
So just give our tips and tricks. And I think the biggest thing is to like look at what your normal routine looks like and maybe try and keep as close to that as possible. Or like if you aren't working, if there's stuff that you were wanting to do for a long time and you've never really had the time, like you got all the time in the world now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I should use my own advice and like maybe do some schoolwork, but I just don't want to.
I know.
At the end of the day,
you're not the only one. I think like with the whole distance learning thing, and even people that are in school and having to do it online, like having to be at home, it's kind of similar to working, right? Like your motivation / your discipline is a little bit off because you're in an environment that like creates essentially laziness. Like
well, and someone was talking about the psychological effects of being like in a pandemic, because when we are stressed, our body goes into fight, flight, or freeze. We can't fight it and we can't flee it, so we go into freeze mode. So you kind of are experiencing like a little bit of a shutdown, and it's literally like your nervous system, your parasympathetic whatever, I don't know, I just sounded so dumb. I've had some wine today, guys, don't judge me. But it really is. And then when you're in that state, you can't be 100% productive. Like you can't perform at your normal height. So I guess the other thing too is just like be gentle with yourself. Try to take care of your mental health as well as you can. Yeah. There's lots of counseling services that are available. Like
online.
A lot of therapists are doing e-sessions, or they're doing telesessions. So there's stuff available if you are in need. So
so if you don't listen to our podcast, we talk a lot about mental health
and a lot about therapy.
we're advocates for it, so that's where that comes from.
So I guess if that's something that's been on your mind and you kind of feel like you don't have any resources, you can always reach out to us. We can point you in some directions.
For sure.
Well, I guess we can switch gears a little bit. I was just like spitballing ideas for this episode because the guys again gave us no ideas whatsoever. And again, if you haven't listened to us, you can find us over at the 2 Girls 1 Broadcast channel. We're also on all social media, 2 Girls 1 Broadcast. But I was curious if you remember what's your earliest childhood memory?
Yeah, I have one. I don't know if it's like what I remember it happening, or I just like it's the first thing that I remember because someone's told me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, for anybody that doesn't know me, which is probably most people listening, I have a terrible memory. So this is a hard one for me, and I didn't really think about it beforehand. But I went to Idaho when I was about 3. We did like this big family trip, and at the time I was an only child, and my parents were probably in their early 30s at the time. And they went with like my aunts and their partners at the time, and like my grandpa and grandma. And so everyone was quite young. I would say like all my aunts and stuff were probably in their like early to mid 20s. And I was chased by like a goose of some kind on the beach.
That's so funny because we literally talked about being scared of birds.
Yeah,
on the last episode.
that's where my bird fear comes from.
That
I think
is valid.
Yeah,
that's valid.
Yeah. What's yours?
Okay, so I remember my little brother is 2 years younger than me, and I remember my mom changing him in the bathroom and him crying and like screaming.
Like changing his diaper?
Yeah, so I was probably 3 at the time, and I like smacked her on the butt because I was like, "You're making my brother cry," and she turned around and like swatted at me. She was like, "You little bitch!"
Oh my
and
God.
I ran to my room, and like I would do this thing when I was little. If my parents got mad at me, I would like put myself in a self timeout because I was so scared of confrontation and so scared of being punished that I would just go do it for myself. Like I would just go close my door and like sit there and not do anything. So I remember that.
Oh, you're such a good sister.
Oh my God.
Speaking of, I stabbed my brother with a lead pencil right in the knee. I don't know how old I was, but he still has a mark on his knee. If you move his leg hair, you can see the little mark on his knee, and he always brings it up.
One time, again, when we were pretty little, we would get so much Lego for Christmas and birthdays, and we would never build like what you're supposed to build, but we would build like literally cities, and they were like multi-levels, and they'd have like bridges all around, and like I had built one that was so big and so cool, and I used like all the Lego. So he took it apart one day, and I was so mad at him, and I could barely write nevertheless spell. And I wrote a note to him, and like he couldn't even read. And I wrote a note basically being like, "I don't like you, you're a bad brother, blah blah blah." And my mom found it, and she was like, "You're lucky your brother can't read."
Oh no. I wrote a letter to the tooth fairy once. Now we're just going down this train. I wrote a letter to the tooth fairy because she didn't come. And I was like, "Is your wand broken?" I was like, "Dear tooth fairy, my tooth fell out and you didn't show up. Is your wand broken? Love, Jessie." I was like, and my mom still has it. That's why I remember
amazing.
it. Yeah.
I ran away from home once when I was little. My mom didn't even notice. I like came home crying, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I ran away." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even notice."
Oh my God. Why'd you run away?
I honestly don't remember, but I packed up my Barbie suitcase. I used to like drinking apple juice mixed with iced tea when I was a kid. I was disgusting. Me and my brother both did, and we called it apple ice. So I packed up
Very, very inventive.
honey and peanut butter sandwich and some apple ice, and I think like some underwear, and I put it in my Barbie suitcase, and off I went down the street. And I think I was trying to find my school or something, and I couldn't, and so I came home crying, and she was like, "Oh, didn't even know you're gone."
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, good times.
This I stole off another podcast, but if you had the ability to change something in your past, would you?
No, you would.
Yeah, I would.
What?
We're not gonna go there.
Oh, okay.
But I do, yeah, like it's so funny. I also saw this quote, and it was like, we all say that if we had the opportunity to go and change something small about our past, we would, because it would make big changes to our present. But we never think about making small changes to our present to make big changes in our future. And I was like, oh, that is very deep,
philosophical.
right?
Actually, now that you say that, I am thinking about something. So, like my mom and I didn't have a very good relationship, and I do think, I know part of it was me. So I think I would have tried to change maybe that, because it would have helped us now. But I was a teenager, and like your teenage brain doesn't think about those kinds of things, and like you're just like literally not wired to think about that. So the teenage days are things I would think most people would consider making a change to, because I think it would help the future, which is now. And I do think that would have helped my mom and I. Actually, I know that would have helped my mom and I now. So I guess that's something that I would change.
I just have like certain points of trauma in my life that like were completely avoidable, and like I would go back and try and change them just so I wouldn't have experienced them. And I don't think it's weird to think about it, because I don't think that it really would have changed who I am as a person. Maybe I'm stronger now because of it, probably. But like I do have like some trauma issues that I obviously deal with in therapy, and I just wonder like what things would be like if I had just avoided those experiences altogether. So,
I don't think mine would have changed me with who I am now. But I think it would have, like I said, helped our relationship.
So, for sure. That makes sense.
That's So we just have a bunch of topics.
Just some random shit.
That we're like not segueing very well, but the boys just riff it. So
this is true. Speaking of boys. So okay, I wanted to talk about this because I don't remember what show we were watching, but it's basically like when girls get mad at guys, like especially when like a girl would get mad at her boyfriend, it seems like guys very rarely interpret what they're mad about properly, because if a girl gets mad at a guy for something, inevitably he's gonna go and talk to his guy friends, and twist it, but I don't think that they do it on purpose. It's just that like our brains work so differently a lot of the time that like they really don't understand why we're mad.
Yeah, I would say.
I had a specific like example in my brain, but now I can't think of it.
Well, I mean, the known notion, like preconceived notion about girls is that like they can just get mad like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't always think that's the case, and I think sometimes like the way that women present themselves in their arguments is not always how they feel. It's just like it's a heightened level of like anger or frustration or like concern, and so guys will interpret it the wrong way, I guess. Like I don't know. I think like you always do this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or like, I'm scared to come to you because you get mad at me. It's like, well, do you want us to literally just sit there and be like, yep, it's okay. Everything's fine. Because later, let me tell you, that's not going to go over very well.
I do think that's funny that that's one thing, like women, a lot of the time we tend to be more passive, but I think that in relationships, guys can be a lot more passive aggressive than they realize because things will bother them and they won't bring it up because they're just like, oh, fuck you, whatever.
Yeah, whereas they'll get mad at me.
Yeah, whereas I think that women try to address things as they come up more often. And so then it can come off as them being naggy or whatever. But no, it's like, we don't want it to build up into a big thing. And then there's the flip where like, if you do just kind of try and let things go, like, it's not a big deal. Choose what hill you're going to die on, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But something becomes a pattern. That's the biggest thing for me is, like, if I see a pattern of behavior and I bring it up to someone and I'm like, this has been an issue, like, more than one time. And then the guy will turn around and say, well, why don't you bring it up when it happens? Like, why do you wait for it to become a big issue? And I think it's just two very different ways of looking at it. It's like a one-off could be such a very little thing. Like, they're flirting with someone at a bar. Or they look like they're flirting with someone at a bar. Maybe on a one-off, like they're just laughing with someone that they just met and it's totally innocent. But if you consistently see your partner flirting with girls at the bar, then that is probably something that's concerning. So then you would bring it up. You don't want to have a blow-up fight about like every single little thing that happens. Yeah. But it's that pattern of behavior. I think that, guys will always turn around and say like, well, why don't you just like address this when it happens? Because then we can deal with it in the moment.
Yeah, but sometimes like, you know, specifically your example, it's when you're intoxicated.
Yeah, that's a big thing too.
Never
a good time to have a fight.
No. Or even just talk about things. Like, you are irrational when you drink. Everybody. I would say like, I'm sorry, but I can blanket that. I would say almost everybody is irrational when they drink because obviously your decision-making abilities are very, very blurred.
Yeah, your cognitive abilities are impaired, for sure.
Yes, so that's just not the time. And that's something that I've learned, like, as I've, you know, nearing my 30s, is just, like, alcohol is not the time to bring up anything. So, like, if I get mad, so, like, sometimes I will get mad when I'm drunk, and recently I've been, like, just having a self-talk with myself about it, being like, you know, this isn't the right time. Like, maybe you're being irrational. If you bring it up, are they going to be irrational? Like, just really, really try and think it through. Because it's not a good time. And in my experience, it's never led to anything good.
Yeah. It's always better to look at it in the morning. And the worst is like if you're fighting about something when you're drunk and like things get said, things get heated. Most of us are more emotional when we're intoxicated.
But you'll say things that you don't mean.
Yeah. And then especially if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I know that we fought last night, but like so much of it is a big blur. And like that's so bad too, because then you both have these negative feelings, but you can't really fix it because like neither of you even 100% remembers what was said. Like it's just a recipe for disaster. So yeah, I think it's really true.
Yeah, like I would almost always fight with my ex when we drank, and like alcohol, it can be a part of people's lives. Like that's what you do when you go out to the bar and have fun, and you know, there's people obviously that don't drink, but for the most part, people in my life, like we drink and we like to have fun, and that can't be something that like stops you guys from going out and having fun together, because it is a part of the social aspect of life and you want to be able to do that together. And I think that was a huge deterrent in our relationship. It was like, well, one of us isn't going to drink when we're together, and we would always just never follow that rule. And then it would just be a recipe for disaster again.
Yeah. That's probably a hint of something too. Like if you're fighting it every single time you get drunk, like maybe something deeper going on that is kind of feeding into that. Like Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of this topic, now we can segue properly.
Okay.
I was thinking about this in the shower because, you know, like when you're in the shower and you like put on Concerts for Nobody and you like have arguments in your mind and you like replay old arguments and you're like, I wish that I had said this. I would have like raised that bitch. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about like the dumbest things that a partner has ever gotten mad at you for.
Oh gosh. Do you have some?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, go.
So this is so sad. Like, I feel pathetic admitting this, but my ex used to get mad at me. So, okay, when I'm drinking, I'm a happy drunk and I'm like extra affectionate with people and I like love up on my friends and I'm like more affectionate with my partner than like I would usually be because I'm just like, who cares? Like, we're all having fun. We're all here to have a good time together and I'm like extra lovey. So my ex didn't really like it when I went out or really did anything without him. So if I was ever like out with my girls, even like if I was just at a girlfriend's house, the minute that I would get kind of tipsy, I would know in the back of my mind that he was on some level pissed that I was doing something without him. Don't do this, girls. But I mean, like, don't cater to this behavior, but I would know that he was on some level upset. And so I would just be like, I love you. I love you. I love you. Like every time I would get drunk, I would just tell him I loved him over and over and over. It's not like I was sending like 10 messages in a row being like, I love you, I love you, I love you. But it would just like, it would find its way into the conversation like over and over and over. And he would get annoyed at me for saying that I loved him too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. And I'm like, man, that's so sad.
That is actually.
Like, why would it be annoying to you for your partner to tell you that they care about you? And like, I know I'm annoying, guys. You've been listening to this episode. I'm aware. Oh my God. But like,
I mean, I can only assume playing devil's advocate is like, he knew you were drunk and it wasn't like a meaningful I love you. Like, yes, it's probably meaningful, but like saying it over and over again because you're trying to like rectify a situation that hasn't happened yet, aka him getting mad at you for like being out without him. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, wow. Thinking back, I'm like, oh my God. I've had multiple relationships though where like partners will get mad at me for like doing stuff without them. I love controlling guys, it seems. I've had a few experiences with that because I had another partner that would get mad like if I would do anything. Like me and Jack went to the mountains one time, like just the two of us, and like stayed in a cabin alone in the woods. Like, what are we gonna do? Yeah. And he was like so mad he made me cry that I went and did that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is not healthy for sure. I mean, I've had boyfriends get mad at me for like doing things without them, being like, oh, you never invite me. And it's like, well, because it's kind of a recipe for disaster when alcohol's involved. Or, you know, I think it's healthy to have a bit of a boundary when it comes to like doing things without your partner.
Yeah, it's important to do things together, but it's also like important to do things apart. Like it's good to have hobbies in common, and then it's good to have stuff that's just yours. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So in keeping with the whole shitting on the guys theme,
we're rounding back to it.
Circling back.
We're circling back. So we love beards.
We do.
We are both very big advocates for beards, and most guys I've dated have grown beards just because I like beards so much. And well, I think everybody that's listening knows how much Josh and Thomas take pride in their beards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like guys, you might need a new logo now.
Yeah,
considering this very drastic change that Josh has made.
Yeah, and
which was
it's quite big,
quite alarming.
It was very alarming.
Yeah.
So there's this thing called beard catfishing. We know it well, and well, Josh, you have beard catfished people. Not in a bad way.
Joshua shaved his beard off.
And he looks like a different human.
Literally like a different person. Yeah. You look way younger, I will say.
Yes, definitely.
And it's just like, it's so weird when you get used to someone looking a certain way. And then when they change it so drastically, like that's a big change. Like I can see your whole face.
Yeah, specifically me, I cannot get over it. Like he sent us the video of them doing our episode. And I was like, huh? Like I was just mystified at what Josh looked like. I was like, you are a different human being. And now I contemplate what Thomas would look like without it, because Thomas, I'm sure we all know, takes very, very good care of his beard and makes sure it's properly trimmed and it's
oiled,
bushy in the right areas and it's oiled. And he's just like, he's all about the beard. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Thomas's beard. I really am.
It is a great beard.
Yes.
Props.
But I wonder what he would look like without it.
We've seen him without a beard because we went to their place to record, I think, the first episode we did with them, and there's a photo of like 17-year-old Thomas with no beard.
I don't remember that, but like, you know, people like they grow, right? So
True.
like I feel like he would look a little bit different now than 17-year-old Thomas without a beard. But guys, you know, if you've got only beards on your dating app,
that's so funny. You read my mind. I was just gonna go into the dating app catfishing thing.
Yeah, that is a whole new level. Like if you sometimes shave your beard off,
but your dating profile only has beard pictures.
Yeah.
Especially if your dating app profile only has beard pictures and then you show up to a first date with no beard.
Oh my God.
The girl's going to be like, who the fuck is this?
Literally, you guys look so different without beards, like just as a general statement.
On that note, knock it off with the filters. Knock it off. A lot of guys use the pretty filter because it like smooths your skin and stuff like that and it's just flattering. It changes your jawline.
Well, it changes the smooth look filter.
Yeah, on Snapchat. Yeah. And it literally changes the structure of your face, and I think it makes your cheekbones more prominent, so you look a little like, you kind of look like a different person. And like,
not kinda, you do.
Yeah. And like, we're guilty of it, like we've used it, but like when I had dating apps, I made sure that the photos that I had on there didn't have filters like that, because it's very obvious, especially to women, like we will notice if you have those filters on because you just look too perfect. And yes, the beard thing, hats. If you're wearing a hat in every single photo, we're going to wonder what is underneath it. Like, do you have a third arm that you're hiding under your baseball cap?
Literally, because I am also a big advocate for backwards hats.
Yes.
And wearing one right now just to replicate Thomas, because he also likes to wear hats.
Yeah.
But it hooks people, I think.
Yes.
And then you take it off and it's like, oh, actually, you are losing your hair.
The shade.
I'm sorry, but I had to throw that in there.
But again, it just makes it look like you're hiding something. And also the sunglasses. Like, I can't tell you how many profiles I would see and the guys were wearing like sunglasses in every single photo. It's like, I don't know what you look like.
Yeah, or like all group photos.
Yes.
Who are you?
Literally. I used to go through like people's profiles and I'm like, hey, this guy is in 2 out of 5 photos, so that's not him, but this guy's in these ones and this guy looks different. And you literally are trying to do like a mathematical problem in your head to like rule out which guy it's not.
I know.
You guys need help.
You do. And so we will provide our services at a very low cost to help you create your profile. And when I say we, I mean Katie, because she also made my dating app profile, my previous one, and it was gold.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, although I am still talking to somebody from it, and shocker, she keeps calling me a catfish because she called me the other day. She told me that I was a catfish because she added me on Snapchat, and my Snapchat is my first name and my middle name and then a number, and my dating app profile was Jack. And so all this time, like 3 months of us talking, she's thought my name was Jack.
It is Jack. It's just one of your many names.
I know, but like she saw my name and she was like, oh my God, I knew you were a catfish. But it's kind of like our ongoing joke, and I'm like, no, I'm not a catfish, I promise. I just go by Jack. It's so much funner. It's like my fucking fun alter ego. Like, I don't know, it's my podcast name, so here we are.
It's so funny. We were talking about catfishes on a previous episode and we posted something on Instagram. Oh, because I had a guy that I like not really dated, but I was like seeing him for a while, and he had joked with me that I was a catfish, and I was pretty sure he was joking. But and he saw me post about this and he messaged me and he was like, oh my God, was that me? And
you're
I'm like,
yes,
it was. And he's like, I told you that you were a catfish. I'm like, yeah, you did. He's like, I was obviously joking. I'm like, okay, well, I kind of figured, and I don't really give a shit anyway, but
yeah, dating app profiles are tough though. I feel
they are tough,
because like you could put a bunch of pictures from like when you're beardless or when you have a beard or when like, I don't know, your hair's a different color. Like there's many different photos that you like of yourself that could portray you in different ways. So then people meet you and they're like, oh, this is what you look like. I liked you better with like the brown hair or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, well, that was just a temporary part of my life, but
yeah, it's true. I would love a job just like curating people's dating app profiles, because so many guys just have like the most tragic profiles. And the guys were talking about this on their episode that they did for us, that like a lot of the girl profiles are bad too. And I think that guys and girls make a lot of the same mistakes, because they were saying like liking ham and pineapple pizza is not a personality.
Or
I'm like, do you know every single guy talks about like, if you like pineapple on your pizza, you're a serial killer and I don't want to date you. Like everyone does the same shit. Yeah,
we're all guilty. So I'm actually just right now creating a business for Katie, and it's going to be dating app profile services. I don't know what we're going to call it just yet, but feel free to reach out to her and she will curate your profile.
I'm like 100% serious. I would totally do this, because I think a lot of people don't use those profiles to their advantage. Like especially Hinge and Bumble both give you prompts that you're supposed to answer, and so many people answer them very earnestly but very boring. And it's like, this is your opportunity to show your personality, be sarcastic, be funny, or be self-deprecating, do something like, just do something that makes you stand out. Because if it's just like favorite food, spaghetti and meatballs, best place you've ever traveled, Italy, it's like, okay, like you can use those same answers but like build on them and make them actually interesting and make people want to talk to you. And like feature the quirky parts about your personality, because somebody might really connect with that one random thing. So I used to have something on my profile about how I'd only eat tomato if it was chopped up in tiny pieces and mixed in with stuff. And like so many guys would narrow in on that one part of my profile, and they would talk to me about chopped up tomatoes and like, I don't know.
Okay, I just had a thought.
Yes.
Why don't we share one of our favorite memories with the boys? So we have been friends with the guys
for probably like
10 months. Yeah, like the summer will be like our 1 year anniversary of our pod gang, and lots of stuff has happened since we've been friends with them. Like we both have appeared on each other's podcasts like numerous times, and there's been a lot of like hilarious moments, and we've gone out with them, and not so much Josh, because Josh is a buzzkill. Just kidding, love you, Josh. So
we have not done any razzing on Thomas on this episode, just on Josh.
Oh, well, I was going to say something good about Thomas, so you go ahead and razz him.
I don't know what I could say about Thomas.
No, I know,
he
that's the
doesn't
problem.
Like, provide a lot of opportunities for mocking.
No, he really doesn't. I think he has used that to his advantage.
Yeah,
God,
fuck
you,
dude.
Thomas.
Yeah. There's got to be something deeply wrong with you that you seem so perfect. And we're going to figure it out. We'll find out. He's going to be like, okay, so we're never hanging out with the girls again.
Yeah, for sure. We created a group chat with them, like right off the bat, pretty much. Like after, I think they reached out to us on Instagram to do the collab. Yeah. And we created like a texting group chat, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but it got sexual right away, like jokingly sexual. And I like literally Googled like a porn picture, and I was about to send it to them. And I think at the time Katie was like, no, don't do that just yet.
Yeah.
But like I told them, and they were like, oh, you totally could have.
I know, I'm an idiot.
No, I was like, I wasn't sure either, but they were like that. We knew within like 10 minutes of that group chat that like this was going to be a good friendship, because we're all just like fucked in the head.
Yeah, we just riff off each other. Literally the last thing I sent in that group chat was like a stepsister porn joke.
Yeah. So that's now what we are.
Oh yes, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. That had multiple layers. I forgot they were joking about us being stepsisters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I did not mean that in like in involving a sexual way, guys. I just need to issue a retraction.
So my favorite memory, we were talking about some chick that one of them was talking to, and it just like ended up going in like a totally different direction, and we started talking about Paris, and the guys were like, what did they say? Were they like, which one of us is going to ask her to come to Paris? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you not asking us to go to Paris? That's so rude. And Katie was like in the kitchen with me, and she literally just verbally screamed so loud, because obviously I am like just so dumb. And Thomas was like, Katie, help her out here.
Yeah.
And I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my,
she's like, this is something sexual, isn't it?
And then I realized that they were talking about like, you know, the sexual Paris thing, and I was like, okay, just kidding, I actually don't want to go to Paris with you guys. Like, what the fuck?
So offended.
Oh my god. I was like, I am like, I do not know all these like ridiculous sexual things. I'm like,
I love
Katie,
it.
what does this mean? Katie, help me. And then I embarrass myself when I don't ask her beforehand, instead of just being like, why the fuck aren't we going to Paris with you? Fucking so stupid.
Oh, I can't even think of a good one now because that's literally the best one that's ever happened.
That was my own
so
stupidity,
funny.
though.
It was so funny. I love it. We've had lots of good times with the guys, forcing them to do fireball shots. They are good sports because I think that we've put them in a lot of very awkward situations and like just asked very annoying questions and, you know, made them talk about astrology and they fucking hate it, but they've been good sports overall. They are good sports.
One of like the first episode we did with them, a portion of the astrology talk ended up in their like intro song.
I know.
Yeah. So obviously we're
so honored.
Yeah, we are.
Are they in our intro?
Yes. Well, Thomas is, but it was from the episode that they both were on. It was where he was talking about the Houdini, which was another thing I didn't know about. But apparently Thomas would like to do a Houdini.
Okay, so that was one of our very early episodes that we talked about the Houdini, and I am like, I try so hard to be like, I make dirty jokes and I'm very inappropriate, but I try to like not be like super offensive in ways that are like kind of like unforgivable.
Yeah.
And the Houdini to me, I was like so disturbed. I was like, so I don't offended. Know. Yeah, I was like, I wasn't offended, but I know that people could be offended. Yeah. And like I can take most things as a joke. Like you can joke about most things with me, and as long as it actually has comedic value, I will laugh. But that I was like, I was so nervous to put that episode out. I was like, oh my God. And then my mother asked me what a Houdini was.
Did you tell her?
I had to tell. Yeah, I told her.
No.
I mean, there's really no secrets between my mother and I at this point.
But Thomas explains it in that episode.
I think she just heard a promo that we had put out and it was talking about it, but it didn't explain it. And she's like, "What's that, darling? My only daughter, baby, my little precious angel." I'm like, "Wow, Mom. When a man and a woman love each other very much."
Is that what that means? They love each other very much? I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
Oh, fucking unwell.
Our friendship has taken us on many different paths with the boys, and needless to say, we are good friends now because of it. But
yes,
yeah.
And honestly, like, they were the first people in like the podcast community that I think that we really connected with.
Like that supported us and like connected with us. And so I think that's kind of like nostalgic in a way for us. Yeah.
And it's crazy since then, especially now that we're cooped up in our houses, to think about like how much there's so much of a podcasting community in Edmonton and Canada and the States, and like just the connections that we've made and the people that we've been able to meet. Like I can't even explain how much it's meant to me.
Yeah,
the
me
people
too.
That we've interviewed or like I just and
I think a couple of like our favorites, not really our favorites, but I guess like more, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't want to like say bad things about our other guests, but essentially like some of our favorites have come from our collab with Long and Hard. Like,
yeah, they found us through it.
Yeah, and like that's how those people found us, and like we're friends with one of them being Alex, and you know, we got to go on the Awesome Hour before it ended, and like, you know, I think a lot of that really had to do with the boys, and I know you fuckers would never thank us for anything, but I'm saying thank you now because we're women and that's what we do, and we're fucking all in our feels all the time. But
and like you guys reached out when we were very new, and like we really didn't have the balls to be doing that, and it just kind of springboarded us since then. So we do very much appreciate it. We appreciate your friendship, even though you guys are fuckers a lot.
Oh, such motherfuckers. Literally always fucking trying to make fun of us. They're always joking, and it's like, but it's good.
It's the best.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I love I think that's like one of my love languages is like being mocked. But in a way that I can laugh too.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hurt your feelings.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they've ever gone too far with me to where I'm like, owie.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, you guys are good shit. But on that note, the guy saw something in us, so make sure that you check out our channel, Two Girls One Broadcast.
Yep. Give it a go.
We tweet on the tweeter machine at Two Girls One Broadcast with no I.
when she says we, she means she tweets. I don't touch that Twitter at all. It's all Katie.
It's actually kind of, I think about this sometimes, like, it's bad because like a lot of the things that we will put on our Instagram or whatever, it's like, well, who said this, Katie or Jack? And it's like, you can't really blame either of us because we both did it, but like the Twitter, everyone kind of knows it's me. So when I post stuff that's like very personal or very weird, people are like, well, it's Katie. Yeah, she's fucked.
I'm sure there's things I've said that you could put up there that people would be like, huh? I'm like, well, sorry, not sorry. I'm just like, I just want to always be like authentically me. And so like when there are things I say on the podcast, and like there are people listening, lots of people I'm sure that don't really kind of like know what it's like to put yourself out there and like be on the air and like have every week something vulnerable said about you. And so that's why like, you know, I try and just be like my most authentic self. And like when I say things like, are you wearing a hat because you've lost your hair? Like I don't really feel bad about that, because like most of the time you are. And like just fucking own that shit. Like why don't hide it? Just own it. Do you know what I mean?
That's the
and
thing.
so like
it's like just be yourself and like be truly yourself. Like just don't do stuff that's like hiding shit. Yeah, like we fucking air all of our dirty laundry on this.
Oh yeah.
And it's gotten us a little bit of backlash. I will never forget my ex reaching out to me about the podcast and saying that I'm a whore. And what the fuck did he say? He said something about me acting like an unclassy lady. And I was like, well, you know what? Would anyone on this planet describe me as a lady? No, they would not. So you know what? Just take that and shove it up where the sun don't shine.
Yes, exactly.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So be you guys. Fucking be authentic.
I guess that's the thing. Be authentic.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been so much of a shift in culture over the last 5 or so years where people are trying to be more authentic. Like we don't want these perfectly curated Instagram profiles. We don't want people that are pretending to be perfect. Even with celebrities, it's like people want to feel like they're making a genuine connection with people even if they're not meeting them in person.
Yeah.
And like this is our chance for like human to human real ass connections. Like no more are we doing this bullshit of like the 50s and the 60s where everyone acts like everything is perfect and then behind closed doors it's a fucking hot dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Like we all have shit.
We just broadcast our dumpster fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Spreading my dumpster fire all over the place. My dumpster fire sees and acknowledges your dumpster fire. What does like namaste mean? Like the light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Like my dumpster fire sees the dumpster fire.
Namaste on your dumpster fire.
Can that be the title of this episode?
Namaste on your dumpster fire? Oh my god.
Amazing.
Okay, that is actually quite amazing.
I'm fucking crying.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
It really does wrap it up.
Yeah, we got nothing else.
Yeah.
And again, just a quick little fuck you to you guys for not giving us a script. And if you don't like this episode, that's your fucking problem.
It is.
When I say you guys, I mean Thomas and Josh.
But if you did happen to, if anything in this episode did resonate with you, make sure you listen to us over on Two Girls One Broadcast. You can listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you listen to your podcast content.
Yeah, absolutely. And with all that being said, we love the guys. They know that. You guys now know that. So, it's
everybody love everybody.
Yeah, it's going to continue this little pretend rivalry that we have with them when it comes to plugging the podcasts. And, you know, we definitely have to plug ourselves, but you know the guys, you know where to find them. So make sure you do that too. And hopefully you'll hear us again on their episode. If not, they will definitely be back on ours at some point.
Yes. And if you were a little interested in this whole rivalry that we have going on, check out any of the episodes that we've done with each other.
Yeah.
They're pretty funny.
Hilarious.
I really like, what was the one that we did where we played pass or play with them and made them do fireball shots?
That's our episode 9, I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys.
Yeah. Otherwise, stay safe out there and
take care of yourself.
Stay home.
Take care of your friends and
yourself.
family.
Yeah.
Practice self-care. This is the time to do it.
Yep. And thanks for listening to us blab for an hour, and we'll see you guys soon. I don't know what the fuck the boys say at the end of their episodes, but we'll fucking talk to you later, man.
Yeah. Peace out.